Of course.
Hey guys, welcome back to the sculpture. And you can see now I got the Beavis and Butthead heads on there. The cool thing about sculpting in oil-based clay is that I can remove the heads and just simply work the heads outside of the body. So for the AC/DC on Butthead's shirt, I added a little bit of clay and now I'm removing it. You have two options the way I see it. This is definitely the more tedious way, but you can just draw it in using something thin like a pencil. Just draw the lines of AC/DC, but I wanted to get some 3D aspect to the logo of AC/DC. So, and then I can kind of remove a little bit because it stands out quite a bit. But I also wanted it to translate from a little bit of a distance away, and that's why I am making it just a little bit. So we'll see how that turns out with the logo. I am completely okay removing the logo and then just redoing it. But I wanted to see how it translates. Same thing with the Metallica in Beavis shirt. I added a little bit of clay and now I'm just removing it. But you can see the AC/DC stands out a little bit further away. So it might be a little bit too much, but I think it looks a little bit better from a distance. Of course, Beavis is slightly looking at Butthead most of the time in the sofa. Usually, like in Beavis's persona, is that he looks for Buttheads for guidance, and he's a little bit, you know, one thing I found about Beavis's head, he resembles a lot William Dafoe, and also, so if you get it wrong, it tends to look a lot more like William Dafoe. So I'd still have a little bit more work to do in Beavis's head. But it's getting there. And remember, Beavis's head is monster clay. The big difference between monster clay and this Roma plasticina that I'm using for Butthead, monster clay is better. I do think it's a little bit better because it's got a little bit more wax. And I found it holds the detail a lot better. It's a lot nicer to work than the one on the left. And of course, the couch, I have the couch is smaller than it should be. If you look at any of the reference, the couch is bigger, but I'm not really sure I want to do that yet or even change it, because I want the emphasis to be on Beavis and Butthead, not so much the couch. But what I'm doing here is I am making some nacho paraphernalia, which is a bag that Beavis has. It's a carry-out bag, and I am going to put it on that left side or the right side of the couch next to Beavis. And that's the bag that the carry-out for the nachos was. And of course, I'm going to get some bowls for nachos, and I'm going to put it on the couch throughout. Because I have to remove the bodies to cast them, the couch should have some more detail because I want the couch to have its own personality. But right now I'm debating whether redo the couch or just make a larger couch. I could simply just stretch it out a little bit more. So maybe that's something that you guys can help me with, because I'm not really sure if it's really worth it to add more time making the couch a little bit bigger. In a way, making a couch smaller, it draws more attention to the actual characters. So this is the bowl of nachos, and I'm simply working outside of the sculpture. I have a size in mind, and the nachos are going to be very difficult to sculpt, but you can kind of like make triangles and kind of put them in there. I don't want to put too much detail in it, but you just start out with a rectangle, and that's the bag up there, and here are the bowls. The bowls are very simple. They're rectangles, and of course I'm going to have to attach them to the sofa to cast them, and I think that should work out fairly well. So there's the first bowl, and the bowl is not exactly a rectangle. It's like beveled inward. The one thing I do try and do is create a nice flat surface, because this way it's going to help me later on. I don't have to struggle so much with the geometry, and the bowls themselves have a pattern. It's this striped pattern that you would see on, fast food. And that's very difficult to do, because you can, after casting this, you could paint it. You could paint Beavis and Butthead, but my usual sculptures that I do, I don't paint them. So the idea to make the bowls look like they have that striped pattern is just simply, there's two options. You can do like a crosshatch pattern, or you can cut a different size depth into the bowl stripes. And one of the bowls that I did both techniques just to see how it would look. And I prefer the cross-hatching drawing technique. I think that's a better way. And I am a very big fan of drawing, and drawing with pen and ink. And the best way to get shapes, scales of different thicknesses is by cross-hatching. So I am digging into the bowl because I want to have some nachos in there. And of course, it would be kind of cool to paint some of the cheese all over the couch, because these guys are messy eaters. So here I am cross-hatching the pattern. You can see on that bowl on the floor, it's got a slight pattern to it. It's a crosshatch. It does look darker when you do that, even in clay, which is quite fascinating. And I never thought about doing that, cross-hatching on clay, but I kind of find that it does seem to work as a very fast pattern. I usually don't try to go with gimmicky patterns, but I think for this sort of sculpture, I think that could work in its favor. And that's the placement for the nacho bowl. There we go, creating a little bit more pattern there by just cross-hatching. You can see I have a very sharp dental tool, and that does fairly well. And of course, inside the bowl, I sculpted some texture and what I would perceive to be nachos in there. And here is the cut in the couch. Beavis and Butthead do not own nice couches. The couch is pretty worn, and there is a big gash in the back of Beavis's side. So I wanted to get that in there. The couch does have quite a bit of character. So that's pretty much it, guys. This is a very fun sculpture. Normally I don't do cartoony sort of stuff, but once in a while it's very fun to do. So if you guys have any ideas for future projects, just post up in the comments below. If you have any comments or questions about the sculpture, post up and I'll be sure to answer them. I really appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
What?
Oh, no.
This sucks.